Hello, everybody. Welcome back into TalkOff. It is Tuesday, June 27th. We're back with another episode, and we are here to talk about this crazy weekend of baseball. We had several wins by 20 runs, one in the MLB, one in the College World Series. We had some great series going on this weekend, and we're going to preview some of the series coming up this week. The week before 4th of July, some people say the next 2 weeks is some of the best time for baseball. Phase 2 of the All-Star voting has started already as well. We're getting into the halfway point of the MLB season, halfway through the summer pretty much, and we're still riding strong. We got some good games coming up this week, some great games that went on this weekend. How's everybody doing? How we doing, boys? Ready for a great episode today?
Yeah. Ready to rock and roll. Happy National Ice Cream Cake Day.
Is it actually?
Best kind of cake.
I was just going to say controversial take. I hate ice cream cake.
Ooh.
What?
Like a lot.
Why?
Just eat ice cream.
But like
those chocolate crunchies in the middle.
You can get chocolate crunchies on top of your ice cream. I just don't get it. Like, I used to go to birthday parties as a kid, and you just have everybody oh my God, is it ice cream cake? Is it ice? And I'm just sitting there in the corner, like, crying because it's fucking ice cream cake again. Every kid at every birthday was like, yeah, Mom, get me ice cream cake. Fuck that.
I liked ice cream cake a lot. I think it's the best kind of cake.
I know I'm a minority in the not liking ice cream cake. Like, everyone I say that to is like, dude, what the fuck's wrong with you? But, like, I can't stray away from what I feel, and I feel like ice cream cake is ass.
Yeah, it also depends on what kind of ice cream cake you're having. And like the one downside to ice cream cake is like you can't leave it out. Like you can't just like have the cake sit out there and like leave it out to just chill.
True. It would melt.
And it's kind of cool when you don't have to, rush to serve the dessert and then slap it back in the freezer.
It's a very good point. I think that there's so many better things you can have for dessert. You could have just ice cream. You could have a nice cake. I'm a fan of a nice cake.
You could have like cake with something cold in it. Like cake is usually cold anyway.
It's true.
And there's usually there could be some like pudding inside. You never know.
Ooh,
I don't know.
Some pudding.
I don't know. Actually, now that I think about it, I've never had cake with pudding inside of it.
Yeah, me neither, but it sounds kind of cool.
There's definitely...
what sucks? Pie. I don't like pie.
Like what kind of pie? Like I like the chocolate cream pie.
That doesn't count. I mean, fruit
that
pie.
Sounded
like
weird
apple
too.
pie, as American as it is, apple pie sucks. It sucks. It's not good.
It's very overrated. Same with pumpkin pie. Pumpkin pie is so overrated.
Pumpkin pie is ass. There's so many
Shepherd's
things
pie?
Shepherd's, well, that's not a real pie.
But
it's fake pie.
So good.
Yeah, that's good. Chicken pot pie, delicious. Dessert pies are ass.
It depends on which one, though.
But not pudding pies.
Pudding pies are fire.
Pudding pies are gas because it's just pudding with a crust.
Yeah, it literally is like the most American food ever. It's just sugar and bread.
Oh God.
It's literally the most American food ever. You know what I was thinking about the other day? Thanksgiving is a meal you don't need teeth to consume.
Don't need teeth? I mean, they help, but I see what you're saying.
You can give that to someone with no chompers and they'd still be enjoying it like the rest of us.
Well, you could easily eat mashed taters, obviously.
Yep. Stuffing, easily. Cranberry, easily. I know a lot of people have mac and cheese, easily.
The only thing you might have a little trouble with is the turkey. But, I mean, you cut that baby up into small pieces.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you cut it up small enough, like...
I think you can absolutely get away with it.
The only thing is, like...
I think probably there's more foods like that, though, than just Thanksgiving.
Well, like, as one collective meal, usually, like, the prime suspects for a Thanksgiving meal, you don't need teeth for.
It's true.
It's literally like...
Who was the guy who was like, yeah, this is what we eat on Thanksgiving?
I don't know. I always thought about that. Like, why the fuck? And, like, he also... I like Thanksgiving a lot because of the football, but Thanksgiving as a holiday is so overrated. The food is so overrated.
Thank
Turkey
you.
sucks, dude.
Turkey
Turkey
sucks.
sucks.
Turkey sucks. And
It's
I know how
so
last episode
dry.
we had that uh, debate or whether if England has turkey. If they don't, good for them because turkey's terrible.
It's like just not a good food, and it makes me hella tired, dude.
It's impossible for it to not be dry. I've never had a non-dry turkey. It's always dry.
Wait,
It's
I
like
think we should clarify
sawdust.
this. Turkey in cold cut form is great.
It's fine. Yes. Yes. But a whole bird, ass.
It's such a production too. The damn day. It's like we got to wake up
Oh
at
my
7
God.
to throw the bird in the oven. It's such a damn like.
My mom cooks for like 4 days. What are you doing?
And then God forbid if I eat anything else but the leftovers for the next 4
Oh
days.
my
after that.
God. It's literally just shoving leftovers in your face.
That's actually the worst part about Thanksgiving.
It is the worst part.
That actually is the worst part about it is because not only do I not love turkey, I'll have it for one meal, but I have to have it for the next 3 dinners after that.
And it's much worse when you have it after. It's
so much drier in the microwave.
so much drier. It's so bad.
And then I got to drown it in the gravy, which is also the most mid gravy ever.
Thanksgiving fucking sucks.
Thanksgiving sucks, but it's like I like how fat I feel after. You know what I mean? Like I like eating to excess.
It's just I'm mad that like it's a football day because it's like the football makes it so good. But if there was no football, if there was no football on Thanksgiving, it would legit be the worst day ever. Not just the worst holiday, the worst day.
Yeah, it could be a pretty bad holiday with or without football. I think literally like the only reason why I look forward to it is because you have nothing to do all day, and there's always a morning game, some afternoon games, and then the nightcap.
It's just nice. And it's nice, like, don't get me wrong. I love Sunday football every Sunday. There's nothing better than sitting down and turning on Red Zone. But when you do that every week, it's nice to have a day when there's 3 games spread out and you can pay attention to every game, every single, like every second of every game, and just sit there and enjoy the football instead of like, oh, touchdown here, oh, interception here, oh, blah, blah. Like, it's just there's one game going on at a time, and you get to sit down, you get to watch it, and it's very lovely.
Yeah, dude, we're just discovering all the fucking things we don't like about these holidays now. Now you're going to start making me get angry about other holidays. There's a lot of holidays out there that kind of suck.
I'll tell you what holiday doesn't suck. 4th of July.
No, that holiday definitely doesn't suck. You know it's a sucky-ass holiday?
Ooh, tell me.
New Year's.
New Year's is
sucky-ass holiday.
New Year's is like notorious for sucking. I feel like everybody knows that New Year's sucks. Everybody goes into it knowing that it's going to suck, and then you do New Year's, and then you're like, yep, that sucked.
I think I've hit the age, actually. I think this was the year I hit the age where I don't think I want to go out for New Year's anymore. Or if it is out, like not to a bar.
If you go to a bar on New Year's, I think you're just dumb. Because there's no point. There's a million people. Is that what I did this year? Is that what we did this year?
Yeah, I don't like crowds of people, and I discovered that this weekend when Zach and I both went to the Travelers Championship up in Cromwell, Connecticut. Lovely Cromwell, Connecticut.
Separately, both there for 7 hours, never saw each other.
Yeah, it was crazy. Literally texting the entire time. Where are you? And we literally were going the opposite directions every single time.
We were on the 5th, you were on the 14th, then we went to the 9th, and you were on the 18th. It was just not. It wasn't happening.
On Sunday, I ended up following Minwoo for a while, and then I ended up following Scottie and JT. And every single time, I was like, I would try to get so ahead of the group to try to still watch them, but get away from the crowds. I was literally like, get the fuck away from me, everyone, dude. There's just so many people, and God forbid you miss one shot of Rory's, dude. Holy fuck.
I hate crowds. I hate them. The Travelers definitely just put like the stamp, the seal on the envelope. Like,
yep.
I hate crowd. Like there was honestly not as many people as I thought there was going to be, but there was still an ass ton of people.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. It was
Yeah, it
my
was a good
first
time.
event I've ever been to, so it was pretty cool experience.
Yeah, I saw Rory almost hold it on 10. Literally danced around the cup. It was awesome.
I got a wave from Minwoo. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, there was we were sitting up on 8, and I don't know who this guy is. His name is Lipsky. He was just on the green. We were waiting for Wyndham Clark because I wish nothing but pain and suffering and hard times for Wyndham
As
Clark
do I.
in the
As
future.
do I.
So I was waiting for Wyndham on the 8th hole, and we saw this guy Lipsky putt out, and ran to I was like, I gotta say something because there's no one following him. He put out for par, and I looked at his name, David. I literally just go, putt, Dave. gave me a nice little nod. We
I
went
think
on our
that's
ways.
like that's my favorite thing now about golf tournaments is that when you go, you literally just like you're right there with them, just like, attaboy, good job, nice
Which is
putt.
so funny to me because now it's like, dude, if you chirped somebody, it's literally like you're face to face with them.
Yeah, you're right there. It's great. That's why like nobody ever chirps. It's more of just it's like playful chirps. They're so funny. I love it. It's
Yeah,
such a
I was
great
on
atmosphere.
really quick before we jump into the baseball. I was, like, I don't know if you got close. I was pretty damn close to Corey Connors when he pushed his tee shot on 7 into into like the high fescue, and he was pretty close to me. And I got to a point where I was standing there. I was like, I feel like I shouldn't be this close to him, dude. I would be so mad if someone was standing where I was and I was trying to hit a golf ball, dude. It was like so awkward, dude, because like it was so quiet when he came up to his ball.
I don't know how they do it because I step on the first tee at any fucking municipal course across the country, and if the starter is watching me, I freak out and I shank it. They
Yeah.
have millions of people and cameras in their face. There's cameras fucking swirling all over the place. They got a mic guy behind them. I don't know how they do it because I was sitting at like the 4th hole and Xander missed the green and he was right in front of me. And I
Another
was
guy
like,
I wish nothing but trying times for.
and he had people behind him, people to his left, people on the other side of the green. I was like, if I'm Xander, I'm literally sculling it so hard at some old dude's head, and he's probably going to be dead. I don't
Oh
get
yeah,
how they do it.
the Zan
It's all,
man, fucking stupid nickname.
come on, man. You don't have to be mean to everyone.
He just I always bet against him.
It's rude. What did he ever do to you?
Kind of just like exist.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You should have told me.
Yeah. So all right, let's get into baseball. Enough with the other talk. Freddie Freeman, Zach, 2,000 career hits.
Pretty
Freddie is definitely a lock, right? Definitely a lock for the Hall.
I think so. I mean, he definitely needs to keep it up, but I don't see how he won't, especially a guy like this and his approach to the plate and the way he hits the ball. There's just no possible way that this dude's not going to be in the Hall of Fame. He's still, he everybody thinks Freddie Freeman. Obviously, he's been in the league for years. Blah blah blah. But like, he's what 32. How old is Freddie Freeman?
Let me check quick.
Why does Baseball Reference not have ages?
Freddie Freeman is 33.
He's 33 years old. And this is a guy who, like, because of his just pure hit tool, will be able to hit until he's in his 40s. My guess is he'll play till 40, 42. That gives him 7 to 9 more years of just hitting the crap out of the ball. I think he's definitely in the Hall. I think he's most likely going to hit 3,000 hits. And we're seeing, like, this is one of the great hitters of our time. Like, Freddie Freeman, Joey Votto, like those kind of guys that just like pure baseball hitters that can go the opposite way. They don't strike out an insane amount. They might not hit 40 home runs, but they're going to bat close to 300 all the time. Like those are home run Florida. Those are the guys that are some of the best players in the league and my favorite players to watch. I love guys that can just spray the ball all over the field and do what the pitch did to them. They throw it right back at the pitcher. Freddie Freeman's one of those guys, and I think he's definitely got enough years left in his career to go out there, get to 3,000 hits, and get the Hall of Fame bid.
Yeah, I really think that that Freddie Freeman is on pace for the Hall, and I think he's. To be honest with you, I think if he retired today, he would still get it. He's just such a well known and well likable guy for this era of baseball, and there's no reason why he can't go out there and still perform at an MVP level, which he's been showing that he can. So, congrats to Freddie, and let's take Freddie and let's pivot over to. Let's talk about the Sunday Night Baseball game that we have our season long bet riding on. Astros, Dodgers, Sunday Night Baseball. What a game. I mean, what a game. Extra innings. Astros come out on top 6-5 in 11. We now have a pretty close bracket right now. Is that right? Or standings?
Yeah.
What are the standings for the Sunday Night Baseball race currently?
The race is getting close. Me and Jake are tied at the top, 5-8. And then you're right behind us now, Dawes, at 4-9. Me and Jake both had the Dodgers on Sunday night. You had the Astros, and that's really a game that the Dodgers should have won. I thought me and Jake had it won, and it just slipped away. But we will regroup. We will come back next week. I am determined. I am determined to make you lose this thing.
I've slowly creeped back up after dropping the first 7 weeks. I am now 4-2 in my last 6. So I've been hot recently with the Sunday night picks.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. You're allowed to get your little streak, and I'm about to hit mine. Then Jake's about to hit his. You're in dead last still. Don't worry.
We'll see. A lot of season left. So stay tuned.
You can say there's a lot of season, Dawes. I'm not worried. I know you're coming in last.
We should clip that and come back to that. Keep all the receipts.
Keep
all the receipts on this one.
You're coming in last.
For your sake, I hope you're right. Because it would be pretty
know
embarrassing to get this call wrong.
It's going to be really funny when you have to take a 5-hour train ride.
We'll see. It would be bad for you to have to be on that train, but we'll see. That might not even be the punishment.
That's true. It might not. Next week we will narrow our punishments down in half, and we'll see what we end up with.
So we had a series in London that was 2 high-scoring games. One 9-1 won by the Cubs on Saturday, and then Sunday, Marcus Stroman on the bump for the Cubs could not get it done. Cardinals come out on top 7-5. This was a game that I feel like a lot of people didn't watch because it was early on in the day, and the two teams are not really as competitive as people might have liked them to be. We were kind of spoiled with the Yankees Red Sox 2 years ago when Major League Baseball went over. Actually, it might have been 3 years ago. It might have been pre-COVID.
4 years, 2019.
Oh wow! So that was a long time ago that happened. So now baseball is back in the UK. Kind of a uneventful series, but they announced next year's series over there in London, Mets Phillies. So that'll be interesting. Maybe I've initially thought maybe going over for that series, but that would be an expensive trip. Yeah,
that's definitely a trip. No, the London series is really cool. It's cool when they do it every single year. Like every year when they go to some place that's not their own home ballparks, it makes it just way more fun. There was a lot of trouble in London this past weekend. The stadium obviously is not super built for baseball. It was not built for baseball to begin with. So there are some problems with the field. The shadows to be probably the biggest one. Huge shadow along the outfield on Sunday. That game was at 10 a.m. Eastern time. I woke up and I put it on immediately and I watched most of the game. Marcus Stroman just did not have his great stuff on Sunday. He did end up getting pulled from the start. I think he must have had like a cut or a blister or something on his finger. And we've talked about that before. It's sometimes the little nagging things that can make guys just blow up. And Stroman just didn't have his best stuff. There was no ride on his fastball. It looked dead, and that's what was getting hammered.
Right.
I mean, the Cardinals definitely needed this series in London. They needed to take this series from the Cubs. The Cubs were a hot team coming into this series, and having Marcus Stroman go out there and struggle is kind of the first step back that the Cubs have had in a while because he's been pitching so well, because they've been playing so well. But, Saturday, Ian Happ, 2 home runs. That looks really good. The offense doesn't look too bad for Chicago. I mean, Christopher Morel, Ian Happ, these guys are hitting the shit out of the ball. Dansby Swanson's always going to do his thing. So I don't know. I think the Cubs have a lot to look forward to, but the Cardinals definitely really needed this series. And I think it was a great series in London. And Mets-Phillies next year, I'm really excited for that because that's another rivalry going to another country, and it's really exciting when that happens.
Yeah, I'm super excited to see how Mets fans and both Phillies fans travel for this game. It'll certainly be a lot of fun to see, if maybe the Mets will be a better team at that time, but we saw a historic collapse. Speaking of Mets Phillies, this past Sunday, the Mets were up 6-3. I believe in the 8th inning. I was not watching this game. I was watching the Travelers up there yesterday, but this was a all-time collapse. One thing leads to another, and now the Mets are deeper into this hole, Zach, that we've dug ourselves into, and there's been a lot more talk today than I've seen in the past few weeks about the Mets being sellers and a lot about Buck Showalter being on the hot seat. Kind of want to hear what your opinion is on this because we all know what my opinion is. Being a team that had playoff aspirations, not even playoff aspirations, but World Series aspirations, now being 7 games under 500, essentially it looks like Buck Showalter has lost the clubhouse. Players know that there's an urgency to turn this around, but it doesn't really seem like anything is no one is stepping up in this locker room, and it doesn't seem like we have currently the roster or the pieces to do it. Curious to kind of have your opinion a week later and a week closer to the deadline, what you think New York should be doing come selling season.
Yeah, obviously the Mets are in a tough position, and I think it's a position a lot of teams this year find themselves in. Teams like the Mets, the Padres, the teams that spent a good amount of money and are underperforming. Mets, Padres, maybe throw Blue Jays in there, even though they're 7 games above 500. I don't really know where the Mets go from here because the problem I feel with selling is that I feel like you don't need to. I do think the roster definitely needs readjustment. There's definitely bats that need to come in. There's definitely pitchers that need to come in. I think you should sell some of the bullpen. I think David Robertson should 100% be on a playoff team. There's no reason he needs to sit in a Mets uniform, especially when next year you're going to have Edwin Diaz come back. That's not a guy you're bringing back next year. I would sell Robertson. I'd maybe sell Ottavino. Some of the bullpen, try to sell some of that. That 100% I'm in. I'm in on the trading of Eduardo Escobar. I think that's really good. It's really important for the Mets to get him off their roster, give Brett Beatty the everyday third base job, and let him run with it. You're not going to know what you have unless you let the kid run with it. You're not going to know what you have unless he gets everyday reps. So I think it's really important that Escobar got out of that lineup, out of that clubhouse, and out of that organization. You grab 2 okay arms and for the minor league system, but you weren't really going to get much anyway, so I like that you get a little something. I think that what's really important for the Mets right now is to cut the dead weight. There's no reason that that the Mets need to push for anything that they can achieve. I'm sorry to say, I do not think they can achieve the playoffs this year. It does not make any sense for them to make a trade to make them better this year. If they're going to make a trade for a Dylan Cease type, someone who has years of control and you can probably extend, that I'm totally fine with. And I think that's a step in the right direction for the Mets. But for me, any move that brings in major league talent and sees either prospects or young guys get traded off the Mets, I think anything of that sort is just panicky and unnecessary. This team is just clearly not going to do it this year. This is the time when, as I keep saying, these teams need to sit down, contemplate, and say, where the hell are we? Can we make the playoffs? And even if we do, can we go farther than that? Because this is not the Cincinnati Reds. This is not, this is not the Pittsburgh Pirates. This is not a team that should not have been here and is just being like, oh, it's okay if we just get to the playoffs this year. No, the Mets were supposed to win the World Series this year. They were a top 5, maybe in favorites at the beginning of the season. This is not a team that you sell everything. This is not a team that you go out and buy everything to try to win this year. This is a team that you have to make small adjustments to, and then you make your big adjustments this offseason. I think right now the Mets are in a really tough position, but I think firing Buck is a step. I think trading Escobar was a great step, and the next one I really think is firing Buck. And I just think there's been too many decisions that I feel like a lot of people have not been really into or been on his side for. I think he's got to go. You got to get somebody fresh and somebody new in there and see what they can do with this team.
Yeah, and I don't really know where we look. I mean, I'm assuming at this rate in the season, it would have to be within the organization, maybe
Most likely.
A bench coach or something along those lines. But for future years, an interesting person that I bring up is Carlos Beltran. I wonder if he can maybe get another shot at managing at this rate because he's still within the organization, and that would be an interesting person to bring in after all the controversies around the Astros cheating scandal that was brought up in 2019.
Yeah, I think it would be really beneficial to the Mets to bring in someone like Carlos Beltran, someone who knows this organization, has been with the organization before, and someone who can bring hype around the team and stir this team up a little bit. I think that's a move that, again, like you said, I think they'll have to go either bench coach, third base coach, hitting coach, something for the rest of the season. But next year, I like that move to add Beltran to as the manager of the Mets. Obviously, he did have the problems in Houston, but there was a lot of guys who had problems in Houston, and they're still coaching now. My coach included Alex Cora. So I think Beltran would be a great addition for the Mets at the manager position. I really just think almost anyone but Buck right now because everything that he does, I pretty much disagree with.
Yeah, totally agree. I have not been a fan of Buck for a little while, so it would be nice to see a change of pace in the clubhouse. Let's move on from the Mets. Let's talk a little Atlanta Braves. The Atlanta Braves are on absolute fire. The first team in baseball, the first team in the National League to hit 50 wins on the season. They are now 9-1 in their last 10 on a 2-game win streak. Zach, the Braves look like what we have been saying for the last 2 weeks. Without a doubt, the best team in the National League, maybe even the best team in baseball. I mean, they're competing right up there with the Tampa Bay Rays at this rate in terms of dominating their competition. I think right now, I mean, we've said this before, and I'll spit it out again. This is the Braves division to lose, and it might even be the Braves NL crown to lose at this rate.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head right there. It really is the Braves division, and it's the Braves league to lose at this point. I think when because just like if you look at this roster just all together, it's just unbelievable how they have so many guys and how they have so many guys locked up. Like this team is going to be good for years. This is not a put all the chips in and this is a super team for 1 or 2 years. This team is going to be great for years, and you kind of just have to credit the Atlanta Braves and you have to credit Alex Anthopoulos and what he's done as a general manager over there. He has identified young guys and he has extended those young guys, and it is paying off, and it's going to pay off. We said it in this offseason. I said it last year. I've said it this year. I've said it for a long time now. The Braves have the most complete roster in the major leagues. You will not find a roster with less holes than the Atlanta Braves. You won't. The Tampa Bay Rays, I understand, 54-27. Great record, great team. But you can pick that team apart with how many people are overperforming. The Atlanta Braves, nobody's overperforming. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing. Matt Olson is top 2 in the league in home runs. Ronald Acuna is looking like the MVP. They're pitching great. And they're still hurt. They're still not fully healthy. This team just plays the right way you play baseball. They just do it right. And they have managed this team great. They have done great work in the general manager's office, and it portrays on the field. The way they play, you can just tell that this team was made in some guy's head, and he was sitting there like, wouldn't that be great? It is fucking great. This is the best team in the major leagues. I think we're looking at another World Series for the Atlanta Braves this year. I just don't really see how anyone can stop them.
Totally agree. This is the Braves, bearing any injuries, but we've seen them, overcome the Acuna injury when they, when they won in what was that, 21? They won.
Yes, sir.
So I mean, we've seen them overcome a lot. So I would not be surprised if, bearing any injuries this year, it still doesn't really set them too far off course. Let's continue on. Zach, we mentioned pre-show that there was some games that we wanted to kind of have people mark their calendars for this week, as this is, like we mentioned, right around the 4th of July. A lot of people are going to have time off work and a lot of time to watch more baseball. Let's rip through these really quick. I'll give you the pitching matchups as well. We'll start with tonight. This game is currently happening. It just started. Twins, Braves, Sonny Gray, Spencer Strider. Great pitching matchup for a interleague game, excuse me. Zach, this is the probably, and I know we're talking about this as we're recording this, but this could not be a better start to the week in terms of games of the week. Then we move on to D-backs Rays, Zach Gallen against Taj Bradley. Another great game. Blue Jays, Giants, Logan Webb, Jose Barrios. And that's on Thursday. Excuse me, I forgot to mention that. Thursday, Giants, Blue Jays. Friday, start your weekend, Twins, Orioles, Pablo Lopez up against Dean Kramer. And Saturday afternoon, Mariners, Rays, Tyler Glasnow against George Kirby. A lot of baseball to be consumed out there this weekend. And that doesn't even include the games that are coming up next week. We can get to those on Thursday. But to just start here, Zach, there's a lot of baseball on this week that we should be keeping our eyes out for, not only for divisional purposes, but for betting purposes as well. There's a lot of money to be had on the table this week.
Yeah, there's a lot of great games this week and a lot of great pitching matchups. Even if when you start tonight with Sonny Gray and Spencer Strider, these are the two of the best pitchers in the game right now. Sonny Gray is obviously out to a great year. He's slowed down recently, but still he's having a great year. He's keeping the ball in the ballpark, which is so huge for him, and that's when he's at his most dominant, when he's keeping the ball on the ground and in the ballpark. And then Spencer Strider is just shown to be one of the best pitchers of our generation. He's going to be one of the best pitchers of their generation. The movement on this kid's fastball and the way he's able to command the strike zone is impeccable, and he's going to be good forever. That's such a great pitching matchup, and there's so many other great games going on this week. The one I would look out for, the series I would look out for this week, 100% has to be the Rays and the D-backs. These are two of the top teams in the entire league. The Rays obviously leading the The Rays obviously leading the AL, and the D-backs in second right now in the NL behind the Atlanta Braves. The D-backs are one of the hottest teams in baseball. There's no doubting it. And Taj Bradley against Zach Gallen is the exact pitching matchup you want to see. These are two top guys. Taj Bradley, obviously a rookie this year, but a 3.86 ERA right now. He's 5-3. And the Rays just play well when he is on the mound. He's another guy that likes to keep the ball on the ground. He's a lot of sinker slider. He's going to keep the ball in the ballpark, and Zach Gallen is one of the best at that. So this is going to be a really interesting game, a really interesting series between the D-backs and the Rays. I'm really excited for it. I really want the D-backs to take this series from the Rays because, as everybody who listens to this podcast knows about my feelings about the Rays, I don't like them, and I think they're not as good as they're playing. But the D-backs are my team, so I really hope the D-backs can pull out this series this week.
Yeah, I'm pulling for the D-backs. I think this will say a lot about where the D-backs are as a true contender in the West. But we shall see how the D-backs come out post-series. I think this is going to say a lot about the rest of their season, and whether they're pretenders or contenders.
How about
that?
Picked
up on that, yeah. How about that?
Zach, can I ask you a question? I'm sorry, before you continue.
Yeah.
So, did everyone in college baseball did they all have a meeting and were like, let's all grow a mustache?
I think so. And mullets. There's a lot of mullets these days.
Everyone in college baseball has a mustache. Every time I look at the TV, it's another guy with a mustache. I don't know why. It's just is that just like a college baseball thing? They all just grow mustaches?
I actually shaved today, and I shaved the mustache, and I wanted to see how I looked with it. It's not great. It's not great at all.
Takes a
That's one
specific
look
type
I
of
wish I
man.
could pull off. I can't. I cannot pull that look off.
It's okay. You'll get there one day, bud.
I don't think so, dude. I really
Yeah,
don't.
probably not. Some people
I don't.
just can't do it. Some people just can't rock it.
So I wish I could. I want to ask you about Xander Bogaerts and his comments about their series loss to the Washington Nationals. The Padres, obviously, we know have not been playing to their potential. They have been kind of one of the more disappointing teams, kind of grouped in with the whole Mets collapse of this year. He was quoted this past Sunday after losing a series to the Nationals. He was quoted, "Come on, man, we're playing the Nationals. I don't think they have playoff aspirations, so you have to beat the teams that you have to beat." Now, this is kind of the most vocal we've seen anyone on, any of these slumping teams be about, how the team is currently performing, where their mindset is at. And, from a guy like Xander who has, been on a team who has won, it's really eye-opening to really hear him just bluntly say, like, look, we're playing teams that we should be beating. He pretty much said the Nationals suck and we should be beating them, so we suck too.
It's pretty
That's
much
about
what he
as
said.
bluntly as you can put it.
Exactly. I mean, obviously this is close to my heart because Xander will always be my guy. He'll always be a Red Sox. So to see a guy who I saw in Boston for so many years, and if anybody who knows the Red Sox and knew the Red Sox and knows Xander Bogaerts knows that he's not a vocal guy. He doesn't really come out. He doesn't badmouth. Even when he had that whole thing going on with the Red Sox and the contract extensions, he stayed quiet. He did not go to face the media. He stayed quiet, and he was, just dealing with what he had to deal with. Clearly, this shows extreme frustration within the system, and I don't understand how you couldn't be frustrated with the season that the Padres have had so far. Nobody wants to lose to the Nationals. The Nationals suck. He's not wrong. The Nationals suck. The Padres should be beating them. Sitting at 37-41, this is not what this guy signed with this team to do. He's sitting over there in San Diego at 37-41, and he sees his former team that everyone was like, "Oh, Xander left. They're supposed to suck this year," at 40-39. So it's probably so tough to sit there and be like, wow, I really took all the money and this team fucking sucks. And I don't know what the solution really is for the San Diego Padres, because this is a team that everybody thought was, oh, they got Xander, they got Soto, they got Tatis, they got Machado. Who don't they have? They have everyone. Aren't they going to win the World Series? They have the most All-Stars. No, that's not how it works. You cannot buy World Series. I don't know how many times we're going to say it. I don't know how many times teams are going to try to do it and not learn that you cannot buy a World Series. You cannot do it. It does not work. No team has done it.
Nope, doesn't work. It's not reverse Moneyball, folks.
It's just it sucks to say, and logically it doesn't make any sense, because it makes more sense, more money, more contracts, more bigger players, better team. That's how it should work, but that's just not how baseball works. It doesn't happen like that, and I can see why Xander Bogaerts is pissed. This team is underperforming, and for him to come out and say something shows a lot.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, he's not really a vocal guy, and I wish someone like this would come out on the Mets. I mean, we had some comments from Lindor today saying, we need to turn it around now. We know that we're not playing well. We understand that, this could be kind of pivotal for our season. But man, it is tough tides for both teams right now, and Xander really voicing his frustration. And look, as a fan, I appreciate that, because as fans, we voice our frustrations all the time, but you don't necessarily see a player voice their frustration. You might see them, get pissed off in some way on the field, but to actually vocalize that is completely different from showing, physical distress. So it's actually interesting that Xander came out and said that, and I appreciate that as a fan.
Yeah, absolutely. it's nice. Like, obviously, there's guys that come out and speak to the media, and you're like, what are you saying, dude? Like, shut the fuck up. But it's nice when there's guys out there and he's taking accountability. He's saying, like, why does this team suck? This team sucks. Like, everybody knows. So he's being like, yeah, we know too. We know we suck. We don't know why we do, but something needs to change. And again, the Padres are in that weird spot right now, like we were talking about with the Mets. They're in that weird spot where they should have been good, but they could be very good next year because they have the roster, and they have the money, but they're not doing it this year. I think it's another team where small, tiny moves need to be made, and then they'll see where they are next year, because this is another team that's just not performing this year, and they're not doing what they need to do to make the playoffs or make a push in the playoffs if they even make it.
Could not agree more. It's a lot of, like you can always dig yourself out of the hole, but it's getting dicey to that point where you'd have to start ripping off a lot of wins in a row to start digging yourself out of it and making it more manageable.
And you got to hope a lot of teams start struggling, and the teams ahead of them are just playing really good baseball. Like the Cubs have been playing good baseball. The Phillies have been really hot in June. The Brewers, they're always going to hover around 500. And then you have the Dodgers, Marlins, and Giants, who are all really hot, really good teams this year. The mountain is too hard to climb right now for the Mets and the Padres. It's time to reassess and call it. It's so weird to sit here and say that, what are we, 80 games into the season, that teams should just pack it up and be like, we can't do it. But it's kind of just how baseball works. Like, you get down 10 games around halfway through the season, the odds that you're coming back from that are so low. It's just because you have to hope that so many teams end up skidding, and it just does not happen. You can't. That's why it's so important, and we said it at the beginning of the year, it's so important to get out to a hot lead. Like, the Rays were the hottest team in baseball. Yes, they have been good since then, but because they got out to that huge start, that's why they still have a 4.5 game lead on Baltimore. If they got out to a so-so start, they're probably tied right now for the division lead. How you start is very important. How you finish is very important. That meet in the middle, that's where you have room to play with. The Padres got out to a bad start, and they've played bad since then. Hence, they are still bad.
Could not have said it better myself. Zach, do you have anything else, or do you want to get into some picks?
I'm good, baby. Let's get into some picks.
Let's do it.
Powered by Riverside.
All right, we got picks for Tuesday, June 27th. Somebody else go first. I don't have mine.
I can start us off here. I am going to take. I'm between two right now, but I think I'm gonna go. Damn, this is tough. I think I'm. You know what?
They're tough games.
I'm gonna go, Zach. Don't kill me. I'm gonna go Marlins over Red Sox. Alcantara's on the mound. They're at minus 105. I really think this could be, perhaps the point of the season where if Alcantara was going to turn it around, maybe it's soon. So I'm going to take the Marlins to beat the Red Sox tomorrow. And I'm sorry, that really pains me to say because I have
fair.
The Red Sox are my AL team, but with Alcantara on the mound and, the fact that he hasn't really been too sharp, I'm going to bet that he's turning it around.
That's a fair pick. That is a very fair pick. Jake, can you go? Because I still don't have mine.
I can go, yes. Orioles overs 3 in a row. On the season, I am 9-3-1 on Orioles overs. So we're just going to keep riding. Orioles, Reds, over 8.5. I see this game. I might take an alternate line, like 25.5, because these are two electric teams. Yeah, book the over.
All right. So it's up to me. I don't really like any of the money lines or anything. So, I'm going to follow Jake with the over. I'm going to go Brewers Mets over. Julio Teheran and David Peterson. Mets and Brewers over 9. These are two terrible pitchers, two terrible systems. I expect maybe 25 runs. I'll also take an alternate line, but I'll take the over 9.
That's right.
Maybe I should just start doing overs since it worked so well for you, Jake.
Dude, it is smacking for me.
All right. I didn't say it yet. Jake, I know you were about to false start.
I was on mute to catch myself.
Numbers.
22.
36.
There's no way it hits 36
12.
times in a row.
3 times in a row, 36. 12, 22, and 36. Oh, perfect timing. 12, 22, 36. Here we go, boys. We're spinning in 10 seconds. Jake, if it's 36 again, I might kiss you just because you keep picking 22.
I don't think I'll play it ever again.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1. We're spinning. Let's go, boys. 36. 36, 36, 36. Come on, 36. Come on, 36. Come on. Come on.
Come
God, I love
on.
America.
Spinning a lot.
21.
Oh,
12, Dodge, 12, 12. Oh, Dodge got it right.
Yes.
Dodge got it right. Thank you for the money in my DraftKings account, Dodge.
Fuck yes.
What a win.
What a win. Dawes' first one to get the number finally. Wow, that was exciting. I thought it was 21.
I got it. Let's go.
12's my lucky number. Why didn't I say that?
I don't know, man. I literally felt 12 today.
Fuck you, Jake. You got me again, you fucking asshole.
Well, we'll get him. We're up. We're due now. We're due.
That's true. We are due. Dawes is now not due anymore.
Nope.
Correct.
Yep. All right, that's going to do it for today's episode. We'll see you all on Friday. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out, and have a great week.